What is up, guys, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be talking about something that's near and dear to everyone's hearts, and that is salary. If you've been wondering how much a US resident makes while in training, you're in the right spot, my friend. But just a disclaimer, if you think that life is dandy and you'll buy Lamborghinis and Ferraris on a resident salary, that's not going to happen. No, you will not go on a supercar tour in Europe. That's not going to happen, but that's okay. As a guy who's lived in Ethiopia, there's definitely an upgrade in lifestyle, if that's saying much. Enough talk though, let's dive right into it. So hopefully the data that I give you right now is gonna give you some information and insight on how to rank the programs that you interviewed at. I know that this is ranking season, so this is a very important video, so make sure you finish until the end. The data that I'm going to show you right now is from AAMC, which is the Association of American Medical Colleges, and it's based on the survey that was done in July of 2022, so it's fairly recent. So this is the mean salary for the programs, as you can see. The mean salary in first year is around $61,000. The median is also around the same amount. And as you go down the years, you get a salary increase by like $2,000 to $3,000 per year, and that accounts for the skill you develop during residency. As you become more skilled, you become more valuable, and hence the salary increase. Notice that they call it here stipend, which is just a form of payment that's usually given to support a recipient during a period of education or training. So it's pretty much the same as salary. They just call it stipend here, so just to avoid any confusion regarding that. And then we look at the salaries across specialties. For most programs, the salaries are pretty much the same across all specialties. That's according to 95% of the programs that were surveyed. I've never heard of a residency program where there's 8 years, but this is just a payment structure if you continue to go on and do fellowship as well. So, for example, if you do 3 years of internal medicine residency and then 3 years of cardiology fellowship, the cardiology fellowship is marked as program year 4, 5, and 6, if that's clear. And then we move on and see how the salaries are across different specialties in the same institution. So, for example, let's say a resident in Harvard, let's say an internal medicine resident versus a surgical resident versus a pathology resident. In most institutions, they pay residents the same across all specialties. So it doesn't matter if you're in internal medicine, radiology, whatever specialty you are in, you get paid the same during residency. However, chief residents in most programs earn more, and that's around 5 to 10% more. Chief residency year is usually during the last year of your residency, or some programs require you to do an additional chief year after completing your residency. So, for example, if you're doing internal medicine residency, the chief year could be the third year of your residency, which is the final year of your residency. But some programs want you to complete residency as your regular residency and do an additional fourth year as a chief resident. If you have plans to do chief year, you have to clarify this before ranking the programs. The other thing is for fellows, as expected, they get paid more than residents because we saw the ladder where the years progress. And then the next is, I included this information just as a reference. If you see the gross salary from 2012 to 2022, it's increasing, and that's adjusting for inflation. So if you did residency in 2012, you'd be paid $50,000, but now you'd be getting paid around $60,000. But when you adjust it for inflation, it's actually pretty much the same, maybe a little bit even lower. Just food for thought. So basically, your gross salary, just to summarize things that you need to consider, the salary increment per year is there, and that's usually $2,000 to $3,000 per year. Salary differs based on programs. Academic programs tend to pay lower than community programs, but not by much. And then salary depends on the region and location. For example, programs in New York City or California, they pay their residents more than programs in rural areas somewhere else. This is because the cost of living is very high in those areas, and they have to compensate you for that. Chief residents, I've already talked about this, they get paid around 5 to 10% more in most programs. And then the one thing that I didn't talk about that could be added to your gross salary is moonlighting. So moonlighting, if you are a citizen or a green card holder or on an H-1B visa, you can moonlight. The residents that do moonlighting here, I know they make around $15,000 more gross per year. So if your regular salary is $60,000, you can make additional around $15,000 moonlighting. So that will make your gross salary $75,000. So these are the things you need to consider when considering gross salary. And then you have to also look at the work hours, because I mentioned before, you may be working in the same program and you work in different specialties. For example, a resident that's doing neurosurgery and another resident that's doing dermatology would be a good example. The neurosurgery resident is working probably double the amount of hours as a dermatology resident. So salary compensation per hour would be far, far higher for the dermatology resident compared to the neurosurgery. So you need to put that into consideration as well. Look at the work hour and calculate the amount of money you make per hour. Additional coverages include health insurance. Check if the health insurance is fully covered or is cost shared, which means you have deductibles. Other coverages include vision and dental care. I don't know what's up with residents and dental issues, but I saw many residents have problems with their teeth throughout residency. So make sure you invest in a good electric toothbrush and establish dental care early with your dentist. The other part is life insurance and disability insurance, as well as housing and parking. So housing, it's I didn't even know that this existed before I started residency, to be honest with you. But some institutions provide housing, or they may even pay for your housing. But most institutions, they don't do that. Parking, most institutions provide parking, meals when working, and meals when on call. So most institutions either provide meals when working and on call, or they give you the money to buy meals. They give you some allowance for meals. And then you can go through these additional things on your own time: scrubs, cell phones, moving expenses, etc., etc. But I do want to talk a little bit about educational expenses like USMLE preparation, USMLE test, research, boarding exam fees. So some programs specifically provide those. Other programs just give you a generic educational allowance. So this is a yearly fixed amount of money that can be spent on any educational activity that you would want to spend it on. For example, our program gives us educational allowance yearly of $1,500. So you can spend that money on conferences. You can spend it on taking the USMLE Step 3 exam or board exam, or you can buy a laptop with that money. Spend it any way you like, as long as it's adding to your education. The third point is, so we talked about gross salary and we talked about additional benefits. Now I want to talk about work-life balance. So do look out for annual vacation days. Most programs give you 16 to 21 days of annual vacation, but that's not much. Trust me, that's not much for residency. You need at least like 3 to 4 weeks to feel really refreshed. So do look for programs that give you 22 to 28 days of annual vacation. And then the next is sick days. Most programs give you paid sick days, but the number of paid sick days you get per program differs depending on the program. And then the rest is holidays and personal days too. Personal days is basically days off you can take outside of sick days and annual vacation days or holidays. So most programs provide 0 to 10 days of personal days as well. So these are the things that contribute to your work-life balance. I finally want to wrap this up by talking a little bit about expenses. So the first and the biggest chunk is tax. So there's 3 different taxes: the federal tax, the state tax, and then in some cities like New York City, Philadelphia, San Francisco, you also have additional city tax. So this usually adds up to be around 30% of your gross salary that you don't even see. So even though you're making around 60,000, the amount of money that you'll keep is more around 40,000. And then the second biggest expense is rent. Again, rent also depends on the place that you are living in, or the state or the city that you're living in. So someone living in New York City is gonna pay significant amount more than a person that's living in a suburban area on the East Coast. I can give you an example. A studio apartment in New York City is gonna be costing from $1,500 per month to $2,000 per month. But if you're living in a suburban area in the East Coast, you probably be paying like $500. I've even heard of residents who pay around $500 for 2-3 bedroom apartments in a suburban area. So do put that into consideration whenever you try to rent. And then the next expense is car. So when you're dealing with cars, there is the upfront cost, so the cost of buying the car, and then there's additional insurance cost and maintenance cost. So that could take a toll on your wallet. If you're not buying cars, then you have to think about transportation fees as well. But I know that if you can walk to your work, you can save a lot of money. But I know people who really want like having cars, because during your off days you can go an hour, 2 hour drive outside the city and get refreshed. So it's all on your personal taste. If you can't live without a car, go for it. But if you can walk to work, you're definitely gonna save a significant amount of money. And then the rest is food and groceries. That could amount to $500 to $1,000 $1,000 per month. If you can cook at home, you're gonna save significant amount compared to eating out every time. So learn how to cook. So the bottom line is work-life balance is the most important thing during residency. Spend on the things that truly make you happy and improve your quality of life, and be frugal on other unnecessary stuff. I promise you, you'll not be wearing that 13th shoe you bought during Black Friday. So quit spending on unnecessary stuff and spend your money wisely on things that truly make you happy. And then save as much as you can during residency. It's not the amount of money you earn at the end of the day, it's the amount of money you keep in your bank account. So don't forget the big picture. I hope it gave you some insight. Like the video, share, and comment down in the description, and I'll see you on the next one.